On November 22, 1963, the day President John F. Kennedy was assassinated, the skies in Dallas were sunny and clear. Yet, photos of Kennedy's motorcade route through the city reveal a man standing along the road with an open black umbrella, probably the only person with an open umbrella in all of Dallas that day. The man with the open umbrella was standing on Dealey Plaza near Kennedy's motorcade precisely at the time the gunshots were fired. What caused this man to stand under an open umbrella on a perfectly sunny Texas morning? It would seem natural, if not logical, to suspect that a man with an open umbrella standing at the spot of the assassination was somehow connected to the plot to kill the president. But when the umbrella man testified before the House of Representatives in 1978, he said that he stood under the umbrella to protest the World War II appeasement policies of Kennedy's father, Joseph Kennedy. During World War II, Joseph Kennedy had supported British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain's appeasement policies, in which Hitler was allowed to conquer European countries unopposed. The umbrella man said his umbrella was a reference to Chamberlain's famous black umbrella, an iconic symbol of his supposed weakness in the face of Hitler's advances. For historians, the case of the umbrella man reminds us that there are an infinite number of explanations or potential causes for any historical event, even some that seem so weird or strange that they are virtually impossible to identify. So while historians should certainly try to explain the causes of historical events, they can never be entirely sure how one event may or may not have influenced another. If finding the whole truth about what happened in the past is nearly impossible, and if interpretations of the past are constantly being changed or revised, then how can we make any definitive statements about what really happened in the past? In other words, is historical knowledge possible? For several decades, postmodernists have harshly criticized the narratives that historians tell about the past. A narrative, they argue, is ultimately shaped by a narrator who brings his or her biases to the story, exercises power over the story, and chooses which voices to include in the story and which voices to exclude. Take, for example, a college history textbook. The authors have made choices about how much space to devote to certain historical actors, how various pieces of the past are organized and presented, and where to begin and end the story. As a result, many postmodernists argue that no single narrative is capable of actually capturing the past because it will always be a product of the biases and interpretive choices. Though the historical task is always limited by our distance from the past, historians must never cease in their pursuit of truth. History is not an exact science. Historians will never reach anything close to a modern certainty about everything that happened in a bygone era, but this should not stop them from trying. A significant amount of historical knowledge can be ascertained through the diligent investigation of the sources available to us.